Greetings and God bless. So it's clear, of course, the people, even of humanity. So I watched some lady was saying that Christians are evil because we believe our rights come from God. American Christians, and these people on the news are trying to demonize people who believe in God by saying we have this extremist evil. And that's actually a fundamental thing of history. Like we have the Magna Carta. When was it? 1400s or 1200s or something like that. And before the Magna Carta, that I forget which English king had to sign it, but before that, we had various other like important episodes of history that I believe it was like the Vikings, that God gives us our rights. And I'm no expert, but it's just very interesting how folks are so ready to throw whoever under the bus, especially if it's somebody conservative, it's somebody Christian, it's somebody traditional, and it's like I go to the laundromat. I've been going. I just don't have laundry facilities at the places I've lived the past few years, several years. And so when I was in South Dakota, there'd be all these illegals crowding, like taking up the whole section. Like they would have 6 huge bags of laundry, and I would have like 8 inches by 8 inches, and they wouldn't see anything. They wouldn't realize that they were trapping me, literally drowning me in their laundry. And they talk super loud on their phone, and somebody from you know another continent, thousands of miles away, they have the volume up so loud that we have to listen to their whole 20-minute, hour-long conversation. Like it's very, and it does feel like invaders, and there's this sense of entitlement that people who are born here, like we're supposed to give good customer service. That's what I notice, is there's this, oh, and these folks don't even know English. I was at the laundromat today, and 2 people seem to have just crossed the border. They have a car, they have a smartphone, brand new coat, brand new clothes, and um, you know the phones, and they don't have a word of English. Maybe hello, how, and like expecting the person working the laundromat, oh, this isn't right, this isn't right, this isn't right. And it's because they don't know the language, they're not bothering. They have their smartphones, they have the ability to use a translator, but they're not interested in learning English. That's the interesting thing. So this is an English speaking country, but now that we have like 50 million illegals, it's not really an English speaking country. What is it? It's a Spanish speaking country. It's African speaking country, Argentinian, Venezuelan, Spanish. I guess English isn't the language, and there's so many compromises. Look at the what happened during the lockdowns and subsequently. Killing a patient and calling it CV gave, like, hospitals were bribed up to $500,000 for each CV death. I know somebody who hospitals tried to kill 4 times because the hospital would have gotten $300,000 to kill this father of his soon-to-be 4th kid. And this wife was pregnant and having to fight to protect him over and over 4 times. They put him on remdesivir and on the vents and totally just like damaged him. And so these people who are our friends, our family, they went to work and killed people because the hospital was going to make $500,000. So kill 2 people, call it CV, because that was the only option because everything's on computer. So the only option that because a hospital's trying to make money. They're not here to fix you. They're not here to be honest. They're here to make money. So two dead, call it CV. That's $1 million. Like, what's even more crazy is that Medicare has an execution compensation. Like, Medicare will pay the hospital to execute people. And I think one way is there needs to be an audit of all the hospitals, both Democrat and Republican, because I was in a Republican state where the hospital tried killing this guy 4 times. So, there's this expectation or assumption, oh, well, Republican, no, no. Like, it might even be worse, possibly, in Republican states because conservatives are like, they're naive and they think the best of their grandkids and their adult children who are basically traitors because they're willing to, like, because they think it's cool. They haven't thought it through, these young people, or these people are getting paid. I've heard the protesters on college campuses get up to $10,000 a day for an 8-hour day. $10,000. And it's interesting because illegals get up to $10,000 a month for their housing costs. Now, what I want to know is, so we have this crazy homeless problem across the nation, and somehow there's all this money for people who are illegal or criminals, and they get paid $10,000 either a day or a month, and yet we have these. Yes, we see index and stuff. That's we're told is this population, but there's plenty who are law abiding and they're functional and they don't have a home. And it's just very interesting that where and the thing is, Americans are making this happen. Americans are working at those NGOs. Americans are working at those illegal those illegal shelters. Um, like they're doing the medical care, or they're doing this, that, and the other thing, selling the cars, or working out the financial deals. So it's Americans. Like, there's so many traitors. They killed Americans for that CV money, and they are throwing Americans under the bus for the illegal immigrant money, or the burn colleges down money. And so it's like so many Americans are traitors. I mean, there's more traitors who are Americans, or criminals. Like, and yeah, killing your patients is I would say that's being a traitor. And the thing is, even when people didn't actively get involved, nurses knew people were being killed, and they tried to speak up, and they left the situation. But plenty stayed. Plenty stayed because they're like, I have gotten used to this quality of life, and the pay is good for killing people. That's how it is. That's communism. Communism makes you compromise basic human decency. And so then these leftists on the news, and they're not, it's not the news. This is propaganda. This is Big Brother. It's no longer news. And I would say even like alternative sources are not necessarily the news. I think we can't trust the alternative people because it's like, I was listening to conservative radio, and then, they're making some good points. And then they were talking about getting a Pfizer shot, like the advertisement. So it's like, if if the ad was for Pfizer, that there's like they can't speak freely. There's something like, sketchy. Um, so it's, like America has become so morally compromised. I mean, I won't even get into the whole pedo grooming thing. Like, oh, I will. Like, I was talking to this Vietnam vet Air Force pilot, retiree guy, and he was proud talking about the sex change operations center that was near Denver. And I'm like, that is a horrible thing. Like those operations are bad for those people. And the guy was like, it's making money, you know? And I'm like, there are good ways to make money. Start a farm, start a vitamin company, start teaching healing practices, how to make air filters or water filters or whatever. There's so many things that people will buy, that people are interested in. And, the medical industrial complex could focus on that. But no, what do? They're focusing on some insane Munchausen syndrome and permanently handicapping, disfiguring, mutilating little young people, children, that will then make them lifetime patients. And you know why? Because the medical industrial complex wants you to depend on them. They're so sick. They're so disgusting. And I think it's also like, how people got the injections and now there's turbo cancers. There's all these people dropping dead and all these people getting these huge like cancers because the cancer industry was losing people because people were using water filters, air filters, eating clean, getting active, taking better care of themselves. And the cancer industry is like, we want patients. We need more cancer. We need more patients. And so, oh, thank you, mRNA technology. Now we got more cancer than we can handle. It's killing people. People are dropping dead. Like every system, every structure is fallen. And I watch these news things where they're saying, like folks are gonna save America or whatever. And I think it's like they're trying to get people to want to save America, to think that there's actually somebody there. I think there's like maybe 10 people that are really going to try to help America somehow. Do the proper paperwork, and pay attention. But I really don't think and they say you only needed like 3%, when the American Revolution happened. It was only 3% of Americans that fought the British. And the thing is, the British did the taxation without representation. The North was trying to do the taxation without representation to the South. It wasn't about slavery like everybody loves to say, loves to bash the South. No, it was again this taxation without representation. And now the globalists, they want to take everything you have, including your body, including your soul. Okay. And the thing is, they've done their good like psyop, so people don't think they have a soul, and they don't think that God is real. And if it is, well, you don't want to be Christian because Christian is the worst. When in fact, if you come with an open mind to reading the King James Bible and doing a proper study of, I would say, look at Romans 2 Philemon, the books of Romans 2 Philemon. It's going to be like 60 pages. It's what our one and only Apostle Paul tells us. Like you'll find God is so much more than you could ever think of, and is sweet and generous and patient and kind and has your best interest at heart. But this is a just God. And you have to understand history, like all the so-called bad things that God did. Well, you have to really study the situation and understand the context, because God will deal with fallen angels and the chimeras, the DNA manipulated creatures, the demonic creatures. God will get rid of them because they're demonic. Like all the liberals are like, God was so mean when he did this and that, had people killed. it's because these people were raping children and doing human sacrifice, and they were harboring demons. Just look into it. Demons are real. Like that's another thing. Liberals will be like, there's no such thing as a supernatural, but if you're from another country, if you're from Haiti or whatever, or Native American or whatever, and you have a supernatural belief and you have demonic encounters, then the liberal would be like, oh yeah, well, for you, we will believe that there's demons. But if it's somebody from America, and particularly a Christian, saying demons are real, liberals, like, they have this disgusting double standard. And like this toxic feminism that is online, of women being so psychotic, again, having this double standard that men are so messed up. They're messed up for being men, for knowing things, and then when that woman wants to use the man that doesn't know the thing that he should know stereotypically, then she bashes him. It's like men cannot win for losing. And Brene Brown mentioned this in one of her books. And the thing is, I was listening to one of her audiobooks. I think it was Brave the Wilderness. Oh my. So I listened to it kind of when it came out, I don't know, the early 2000s or 2010s, I don't know. But listening to it now, and it reeks of so much of this self absorbed liberalism, but trying to be aware, like trying to be like, wow, okay, this, we can be an a-hole very easily, but still so marinated in this liberal leftist self-righteousness and like weaponization of this self-righteousness of feminism and revenge, and that's what feminism, that's what the Israel stuff, it just seems like revenge against conservatives, and against Christians, and against the foundations of America and the West and God. These people hate God, and like, I know Brene Brown is she goes to church and stuff. I don't know. Most Christians aren't saved, in my opinion. Because if you ask them, how do you get saved? They're like, well, they really don't know. Even though it's easily found in 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4, and Romans 3:25. You believe on the death, burial, and resurrection, and the shed blood. You have faith in the shed blood of Lord Jesus Christ. But people they'll talk more empty words, but they would better use that time looking at that scripture. So it's like, so men have been bashed and psyoped, and the thing is, I was reading one of Apostle Paul's letters today. I think it was either 1 Timothy or 2 Timothy, and he called women, like the fallen women, like silly, and women are so dumb. Like, like the fashion magazine editors were biological men. They were men, and the models were men. Female movie stars were men. They were male to female transsexuals, transvestites. That's why they had that rib removed, because they're trying to have a hourglass figure like Marilyn Monroe and probably Sophia Loren and Cher. And you can see that they're men because they have a big skull and a big brow ridge and deep sunken eyes and big lips, wide mouth, wide eyes, big shoulders. They have big collarbones. They look like a football player. Like, look at me. Like, do I look like a football player? I'm a tall woman. I have big bones, but like, And men have like a deeper skull. Like women's features are more superficial. We're up here, in the face, whereas they're further in, and it's probably because they were made for battle, and women probably can't take a blow like a guy can. Um, and also just the super narrow waist. Like women have been killing themselves trying to have a size zero male body type, but they can't because women don't have a size zero male body because we have fat because we're supposed to be mothers. And then women are crazy because they're trying to look like men. They're trying to have the same weight as a size zero male, and then they're putting all this toxic makeup on their face to look like a male temple prostitute. That's what women wearing makeup in modern times, they look like a male temple prostitute because they try to make their eyes bigger and they try to make their mouth bigger and they're doing all this stuff to look like a man. They don't realize it. And the thing is, they don't look like a man because they have little female features. But it's a combination because a male temper prostitute, he's not being a man. He's trying to look like a woman. He's trying to access some female energy, goddess energy. So women are messed up. Men, have been tortured by this self-righteous stuff, whether it's by women or for their skin color, and getting psyoped. And of course, everybody's poisoned in the food, water, air. So there's all these heavy metals that are interfering with, causing brain damage and stuff, medications, um, you know. So there's a breakdown of gender roles and the family and culture. I mean, add in like social media and the internet and like people are like, oh, there's hope and it's gonna work out, blah blah blah. And I'm like, so people are like, the white hats have it all figured out, blah blah blah. And so a lot of people, millions of people have died. And the folks who are pro, like, they're like, well, folks are like, well, that just that had to happen because the normies need to wake up. And I'm like, how about get rid of the normies that won't wake up and let the people live, but I'm like, who's gonna fix this insane situation we're in? Because the feminists and the haughty people of color who are like, everything's white people's fault and white people need to do customer service for me and be my slave to make up for what I think happened to some people I don't even know. Like, and then we have like 50 million invaders who are like, get out of my way. I'm taking your stuff. That's what it's like at the laundromat. That's what it's like when I'm trying to cross the street. And these invaders who aren't reading the stop signs, they're not following traffic laws. They have a brand new car, and they'll just as well run over me because they're high on their drugs. Like, I'm taking your stuff. I'm taking your space at the laundromat. I'm taking your space as you're crossing the street. The police don't do anything. When I was in South Dakota and I was trying to just go to the store or the laundromat or just walk, the native people came up to me because it was right after the riots, and so they were like, "You owe me reparations," and I'm here with dragging my laundry in my backpack, walking, okay. And somehow there's this assumption that I'm a millionaire that profited off of them, and police do nothing. Police were never around except for when it was a really nice day and there was a festival or something like that. I think I saw police like 3 times when I was in Rapid City, South Dakota for like 2 years. When I was in New York City, there were police around a lot, God bless New York City. And there were people. There was a black guy who was like talking about killing white people, white ladies. There was these ladies who were all dressed up for a party or something like that, very elegant. And police were watching this black guy, you know, wish them death, want to kill them or whatever. And then the black guy was yelling at me, and the police didn't do anything. I'm glad they were there. But, and the thing is, so what's in it for the police to do anything? Like, there's no place for these hateful people to go. And this was an American black man who was saying bad things. So there's no place, because nobody's going to be put in jail. Only people that's going to be put in jail is a righteous American defending themselves, as we see. Those are the people who go to jail. Is a lawful American who's defending themselves or somebody else. Those go to jail. That's who's in jail now. That's who the system is focusing on. And they're going to make up laws just like they're doing with Trump. I think he's Illuminati, deep state, but even so, the insane lawlessness that's going on with the charges and the trial, and the left couldn't care less. They're just like, oh, he's evil. They don't even care about the truth. So there's probably 3% of America that's really American. I mean, because conservatives love the lack of borders, because the conservatives will then hire illegals to build their house, will build their next mall or something like that. That's all I see. I never see an American working construction. It's always a bunch of illegals. They have no comprehension of English. So conservatives are culprits here too. Like, all the conservative channels are blaming the left. Conservatives are totally banking on these illegal immigrants to be free labor, So nobody's to be trusted. So so there's 3% who's decent people. Why bother save America? Why bother? Because conservatives are bought out. The liberals are bought out. Why bother? So who's, the military's we'll do whoever wins. We'll obey whoever wins. Oh, okay, we're going to do what the coup d'etat tells us because we're the military and that's what we got to do. Oh, well, then we have a lawful, okay, we'll do that. It's okay, that's not what our Constitution says. When the elected officials are traitors, that we end this. But we clearly have traitors, criminals running things, but nobody who can is doing anything. And we're told, oh, it's a long game. Oh, we got to wait for people to wake up. When we had the American Revolution, did everybody wait for the other Americans to wake up? Because we had plenty of people who believed in the king, who were royalists in America. And I don't think when we had our Revolutionary War, we made sure those royalists got up. I don't think anybody was like, oh yeah, we got to make sure everybody's on the same page. But for some reason, we have to do it now. We have to get everybody on the same page. No, I don't think so. And what, we waited 4 years, and everybody's been psyoped, even the alternative, extreme alternative news, everybody's been psyoped. So, even though people are like, oh, there's hope or whatever, hope. I don't really think so. I don't think there's hope. I think it's this morbid, like, watching something die, because there's just not enough, um, true effective. Uh, I mean, there's people talking, but everybody's so selfish and caught up in their little story, and like nobody has ideals. Nobody has the mindset, the intelligence, the intellectual stamina to even know what their ideals are. Everybody has been so tremendously dumbed down, and they're content. They're content being dumbed down. You know, like I just am not inspired. And the fact is, God has us here for a reason, and um, so I trust in His timing. But really don't have faith in people. We're just everybody's just gonna rationalize. Oh, just wait and it'll work out. Somebody will figure out something, and it just seems like it's gonna just be it's gonna be 10 years, 50 years of the same thing that we've been in. So we have 50 million illegals that want our stuff, that wants the space where you're standing in right now, where you're sitting. No, you don't deserve that. I'm going to take it. Nobody's going to do anything about it. And if they do, the left will put you in jail. The police will put you in jail if you don't let the invaders take your stuff and harm you and your family and live in your home. Because that's what's right now. That's just how it is. And like, this is how does that work? Okay, so the invader takes the place where you stand, and you don't get to walk on the sidewalk, and you don't get to do the laundry, and you don't get to be in the grocery store, because the invaders have to have the entire aisle and park right in the middle of it and have a whole little party right there. um so where do we go? I don't want to be here. you know I don't want to be in a war zone in one of these countries. I don't want to be in a communist country. Like, I hear that there's these parallel breakaway civilizations that's not documented on any map. I'd go there. But like the common decency that these illegals have in their own country, they're not displaying to we in our country. And it's their imperiousness and their incredible self-centeredness, that so the liberals that facilitated them from the border to here. So the liberals were like, yes, come and ruin our country, because our country has freedom, our country has morality, and that has to stop. So you come here and ruin it, okay? Because the leftists hate themselves. They have this crazy psychopathic self-loathing, um, and maybe because they were pampered too much, and I don't know. Uh, but okay, so we have 50 million illegals. So where do the rest of us go? Where do Americans who were born here go? I mean, is the military going to just shoot us all down? Just get us with the AKs or something? I mean, is that what you want? Is that what's going on? You know, is the military going to shoot us all, and we're supposed to wait because the white hats need the rest to wake up? So yeah, so all the hospitals killed a bunch of people, horrible deaths. Okay, but we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait because there's a plan. So like, a couple people in the military and a couple people, ex-convicts that got out of prison and want to, save their communities, that they're going to fix something. Like, so ex-convicts are going to figure things out. They're going to they know how to, get organized. And I don't know. I'm not impressed. I'm not confident that the people who see things for what it is, I don't think they have good, like, group facilitation skills. I don't think they know how to have people work together. Like, somehow the left has a system. I don't know if they do a lot of retreats or hypnosis, or if it's some sort of technology, implants. But the left has a smooth system. And the thing is, they've been doing it a long time, because sketchy stuff was established in South Dakota like 40 years ago. Okay, so 40 years ago, it's like the 80s. Okay, so these communists, the communist Marxists, have been working on the heartland, the conservative areas. They started in the 80s, in the 1980s, before Y2K. And so these communist, fascist, Marxist things have been established in city council and school boards and stuff, starting in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. And the people who have been elected, it's, they're in charge. They know, they believe in this weird globalist satanic thing that's going on. And we're just kind of like, we just got here. Okay, so we have a few years of like, wow, there's weird globalist things going on, but we just got here, a couple of years ago, when the folks who are in charge they've got 40 years of this under the belt. And what kind of competition do we have? Like, what are we able to, um like, we don't know how to relate, we don't know how to work together. This seems to me like, to overthrow this globalist satanic infiltration. I mean, am I wrong? Like, is there any hope? Because I think people, they like their blood money. They're fine with having killed patients for the CV money. They're fine with having illegals. They're fine being traitors to this country and to humanity. I think people, Americans, are just like, they're so addicted to their money, and they're so disconnected from their soul, that they don't realize how bad it is. And so, like, I'm like, I just want to be where there's some, you know, like, aware people, like, that are informed and that care, and maybe know how to navigate this, because I'm not impressed. Nobody seems to know what to do. People will talk about what's going on, um, and fearmonger, like, Mike Adams on my. But in terms of the, like, because the thing is, the only way anything's going to change is when people in real time in-person like meet and discuss and write paperwork and deliver said paperwork and follow up with that paperwork and have confidence in a process, in a process of disclosure and words and dialogue and real law. Because that's the thing, like every once in a while there'll be like some bad person did some horrible thing and they get arrested. And so once, I don't know, every 6 months there's this gratuitous story. And so then everybody's like, yay, we can trust our justice system. We can trust the police because they got this one guy, even though there's like hundreds, thousands. I mean, we 800,000 before 2020, before everybody had to cover their identity. 800,000 American children went missing in every year as of like 2019. And of course, when you hide their identity, and then when you hide the perpetrator's identity, I'm sure it's up to 1 million. Who knows? Maybe 2 million children get lost. So how could about 1 million children be lost without a trace in this age of NSA, cameras everywhere, everybody's holding a camera, you know, because they're in on it. Like, they're in on it. They're in on child human trafficking. And it's not like these children are sent somewhere to color for the rest of their life, in coloring books. They're used for horrible, horrible things and killed and eaten and soul scalped, like supernatural demonic implementation. And that's our lovely NSA. That's our wonderful military, People are like, I trust the military. Military is like this mass human sacrifice engine. I mean, they may know things, but there's some Babylonian thing, Sure, let it be this gay thing. It's a little more honest of what it is. Like they're not getting there enough human sacrifices, so now they're changing it because they need those young men for their human sacrifices to their demons. So the military is not going to do anything. The police are like this private, mafia enterprise. The government is this pagan, corporate whatever that has nothing really to do with us. And, same with the Supreme Court, the whole bar association, it's a British registry. These are British folks. They're not, they're traitors to America because we have American law, but for some reason they're bringing British law to us. No. You don't want to be under British territory, British jurisdiction, because they're in America. I'm an American. I have nothing to do with England. I've never been to England. I haven't, no oath and no allegiance to England. I have allegiance to America, the United States. I can see why people are like, no hope. Aliens gotta save it. Of course, I believe in Jesus. I'm like, like the rapture is my hope, but it hasn't happened, has it? We've been waiting for about 2,000 years, and I'm just being all self it's not happening now with all the terrible things that are like why and the thing is, God is waiting because he wants people to come to the Lord. He wants people to come to the knowledge of the truth of salvation, and churches are not helping with that. Churches are doing their little pageants and their little virtue signaling, or send a missionary hither and yon, and maybe that missionary is going to do more than the pastor does in his own church, in his own community. Because Christians don't know what salvation is. 1 Corinthians 15, 1 through 4, and Romans 3, 5. So it's not going to be the church. The church isn't going to help. So I guess what I'm hoping is that the left, because the right, I don't know what's going on with the right, but maybe the left, which just seems so like messed up and crazy, maybe the solution is that they knowledge of the truth. Like maybe the evil rhinos, maybe they wake up, because there's a lot of good people, a lot of good conservatives, but they're not going to do anything. They're like, I'm not going to get involved. I paid my tithes. That's me getting involved. I'm not going to get involved when my library or school is trying to groom my children for pedophilia. Too. Like those are the people who are showing up. Yes, they're getting paid $10,000 because you know what? A conservative would never pay an evangelical $10,000 a day to serve in this community. But you know what? Soros will pay 100 students $1,000 a day to college down. Huh. So, the left will spend crazy money to do evil, but the right is like very parsimonious. Like the right has money, they have property, they have all sorts of trust funds and stuff too. But they're like, oh well, like I really don't know much about money or whatever, but it's clear the left will put their money where their mouth is, but not the right. No, no, no. They're going to keep their money until the earth burns down. And you know why the left is successful? Because the left will throw thousands of dollars of money at their protesters who will show up for their 8-hour shift to burn a city down. So, yeah, conservatives, you're useless. Because you're greedy and selfish and short sighted. You need to take a lesson from the left. So, really, you know what the solution is? The left is going to show you up, conservatives. The left is going to wake up and they're going to fix things because the right is just incompetent, impotent, and just content living in their little hole under a rock as the world burns around them. So, God bless you, leftists. They're going to fix things. They're going to take action and actually bring America back to what it believes. And you Christians, you eat crow or you eat your humble pie because Christian conservative, you could have fixed America. But no, you're not. You're not gonna. No, you gotta save money. You gotta think about your reputation. You don't want to go to jail. You don't want to get hurt. I don't want to do those things either. But you guys are men, and that's who I'm talking to. Instead, you know what's gonna happen, conservatives? Men in skirts, gay men, trans men, they're gonna wake up and they're gonna save America, not you. How would that feel? Enjoy.